There are three basic phases of production: pre-production, production, and post-production. This class primarily focuses on production. However, we will touch on all three. So first, let's define each. But to make it a little bit easier, let's go ahead and draw a comparison to something everyone's probably experienced, which is cooking or baking. So if you've ever cooked or baked something, you know that the first step is to find your recipe and then gather your ingredients. Well, that step is pretty much pre-production. Once you've gathered all your ingredients and you've mixed it up, now it's time to cook it or bake it. That's the production process. And then finally, when you pull it out of the oven or you're done frying it up or whatever the meal was that you made, now it's time to plate it, maybe garnish it with some things, or maybe you need to ice your cake or decorate your cookies. Well, that's all kind of the post-production phase. So those three phases, pre-production, production, and post-production, can be really compared to cooking, where pre-production is gathering your ingredients, production is the actual activity of cooking, and then post-production is making that food look a little bit better. So now that we have a comparison, let's go ahead and look at the actual definition of these three phases. So remember, pre-production, that's the beginning. So this is where you plan your production, you schedule it, you write the script, you coordinate with actors, talent, crew, depending on what your production is. So in news production, this might consist of coming up with the news stories you're going to follow, assigning people to do those news stories, and writing the scripts for news stories. It could also, in film production, mean location scouting. It could mean screen tests for actors. So pre-production involves the planning stages of production. Production, remember, that's the cooking part. So that's when we are using our cameras and videotaping the action. That's when we're on site with the actors and we're lighting the set and shooting the scene. So production is the actual doing the show or doing the film. It's the making of it. Post-production is, remember, that's when we're plating our food, decorating our cake. So this is when we take the stuff that we shot and now we go ahead and edit it together. Sometimes we might need to adjust the color. Sometimes we might need to adjust the sound. Sometimes we might want to add music. So the post-production phase is basically making the production look better. So now that we have just a basic idea of what each phase is, you realize it's very difficult to only concentrate on production. That would be like cooking without any ingredients or a recipe. So we need to learn a little about pre-production.